Hi and good morning. It's a wonderful day. Today is the 4th of April 2017 and it's a Tuesday. Now, yesterday we stopped at your love is better than wine, and we were talking about the kisses of love from God, the type of love that God communicates to us. And we were speaking about the lips, the part of the body that is the lips, and how they're used to communicate a soft touch of affection. And today we are looking at Songs of Solomon chapter 1, and it is verse 3. And it says, "Pleasing is the fragrance of your perfume. Your name is like a perfume poured out. No wonder the young women love you." Now, this is directly connected to the second verse, that is, your love is better than wine in a way. And like I said, we talked about the kisses as a form of communication, a soft touch that allows us to communicate our affections. And we said, how do these affections or these physical touch that is a kiss affect us? It goes deeper into our emotions and deeper into the heart. So it kind of touches us in the innermost part of our hearts, and we are glued to it. I remember saying, if love is broken at that particular moment, we become heartbroken. It's more painful than any other heartbrokenness that you could ever go through. And now this takes us back when we say about the heart, I mean like the love going deeper into our hearts. It takes us back to where we began about intimacy. Remember, we set this topic as a topic where we will be discussing intimacy, the innermost, and how our innermost being is being affected in a holistic way. And when I say this, normally I tend to cover the spices of life, which is the spiritual, physical, intellectual, commercial, emotional, and social lives. Just a small part of the holistic, so that I can be able to be covering some of the topics that I tend to concentrate on. So we said the love of God is better than wine because it stays constant. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. God's love is immense. God's love is ever-flowing. God's love remains the same even when we are not faithful. God still loves us. So it's better than wine. Now, speaking about better than wine, it's like we have already now spoken about the tongue and the lips and the approach of intimacy. We've already used our minds. So when we approach God's love, we have to use our minds to refocus on that love. We have to use our lips to speak of the grace and love of God. We have to kind of cherish or savor the goodness of God better than wine, because it's better. The love of God is better than wine. It lasts longer. Now we are moving on. Today we are talking about the fragrance, and we use our noses to smell the fragrance. Right now, as I am talking to you, I'm cooking my lunch to take away to work, and the whole house is full of the aroma of the garlic and the onions and just the spices that I'm using for my lunch. And I can tell you, I will be carrying that smell in my clothes. I don't like when I have that smell on my clothes, but then when you're cooking something as good as that, it will hang on your clothes. And in the same way, our attitudes and our love and our behaviors, it's kind of, they hang around our clothes. They hang around us. You can tell where someone has been by the way they speak, by the way they behave. It's like they pick those smells. Yeah, sometimes, you know, when people have a bad attitude or you can, I don't know why people go it's like they smell the bad attitude. And this morning, yes, as I was searching for what to be speaking about, I came across a saying that says your ego, your attitude can smell from a distance. So today we are talking about the aroma. The good side of the aroma is that when you have a loved one, or rather, let me say in general, we all have a kind of distinctive smell. a natural distinctive smell. And there are perfumes that we like to use, so it's kind of, we can be associated with that distinctive perfume. When you have a loved one, you can smell them even when you're blindfolded. I remember there was a TV program that was blindfolding people and saying, now go ahead and find your loved one or your boyfriend or girlfriend amongst these other people by just smelling them. Yes, it's true, you can smell that person that you have spent most of the time with because you know their distinctive smell, which is wonderful. They say that babies smell their parents. I can't substantiate that. I don't know actually how they got to know that babies can't smell their parents. I don't know. So, but one thing I know is that we can be able to smell our beloved. We can be able to smell those people that we've spent most time or more time with, because we know how they smell. Now we've spoken about the mind, the lips, the tongue, and the nose today about the smelling. Now the Songs of Solomon now brings us back around to saying, your fragrance is pleasing. Pleasing is your fragrance of perfume. Your name is like perfume poured out. No wonder the young men love you. So I said, when we love someone deeply, you can smell their fragrance. You can recognize them through their fragrance. And when you get to know God in the same way, when you get to know God, you get to know the scent of God, the smell of God. That breath of life that he gave you, that breath of life that he gave me, it's like the smell of life. God gives us that smell of life. And when you recognize that smell of life, you know it's surrounded by love. It's like you smell love itself, and you know that God loves you. You can breathe in. Every moment you breathe in the oxygen, every moment you breathe out the carbon dioxide, you know that it's God's breath in us. It's God's breath in our lives. It's the smell of life itself. It's the smell of the love of God. He has made us to be who we are today, a creation, a handiwork of his work. And he has given us the fragrance of life. And when he gives us the fragrance of life, I believe everybody, each one of us, loves to be alive. Even when we are going through hard times, it's normally very difficult for us just to give up on life. Sometimes we have to think and rethink. For those who sometimes become suicidal and all that, it's not an easy thing to give up on life. It's difficult. A true Christian should be a breath of fresh air to those around them. Their attitude should smell good. They should be attractive to God, and they should be making other people be attractive to God because of that smell of love. The love attitude towards God and the love attitude towards others should be an attraction to those around those people. No wonder this verse says, the young women are attracted to my beloved. They are smitten. Let me say, when you first become a Christian, you are so much in love with Jesus, and you can speak about it, you can show it. Maybe with time you just get used to the smell of Jesus, or you get used to the life with Jesus, and sometimes you may forget. But when that fragrance, that smell comes around, the smell of love, when you're reminded about the fragrance, when you're reminded about how God loves you and he has given you that fragrance of life, then the love can be awakened in you. So today, as you go about your life, just remember this. It's the fragrance of life that we breathe. It's the fragrance of God, the smell of love from God that is in us, that enables us to move day by day. Now, there are some verses in the Bible that talk about that. This is not just a made-up thing by Esther. It says this, 2 Corinthians 2, verse 15 says this, for we are a fragrance of Christ to God among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. Wherever we go as Christians, just remember we are the smell of Christ. We are the fragrance of Christ. And Ephesians 5 verses 1 and 2 says this: "Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for you, offering a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma. Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering, a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma." Smell the gift of love. Smell life. Enjoy the goodness that God brings in our lives. As you go about today, just remember God loves you so immensely that when you look around your surrounding, like now it's spring here, the freshness, the smell of the flowers coming to life, it just reminds you how beautiful God is and how marvelous God is. It's just like smelling life again, the freshness of life. Enjoy your day and have a wonderful, wonderful, refreshed day. Smell life, smell the love, and walk in love. And I'm telling you, when people walk around you, they will be able to pick the scent, and they will be able to have a changed way of life just because you smell love. Just remember, we've covered a few parts of the body now: the mind as intimacy, the lips as communication, the tongue as tasting and seeing that God's love is everlasting, and now we are smelling the gift of life, the gift of love. God bless you immensely. See you tomorrow when we move on to verse 4. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.